Well, students, we have discussed about the different types of seed drills and planters. Now, in the series of those equipment, we would like to discuss today about vegetable transplanting. Now, this has taken in the last 7-8 years or so about the mechanization in horticulture crops and particularly the vegetables. Here we see that the various operations which come into play for this vegetable is the field preparation, which anyway we know how it is done and what are the equipment available. The second is the planting of this or seeding of the vegetable crop. Then third is weed control. Then fourth is about the pest control or any other insect control and spraying, etc., and then harvesting. Of course, when you go for harvesting, and if it is a root crop like potato or you can say carrot or onion, so you can use any one of the devices which have been developed and check whether how far they are useful and compatible with the requirement of the crop. Now, in this case here we would like to talk about the particular one type of vegetable transplanter which we have developed and which you might have seen available in various parts of this country as well. See the various ways by which vegetables are done. Manually, you know that manual how do we do? Either we have this vegetable seedlings or vegetable seeds which are sown, or vegetable seedlings which are created and that can be sown, as it is sown over here, as it is shown in this case, that there is a dibbler sort of a tube here in which this is being sown. And then the field capacity of such unit, of course, definitely when such units are manual, they will be very slow and the output will be very less. You can see it is quite obvious, 0.025 hectare per hour. And then field capacity here, field capacity when it is a semi automatic transplanting, it is a tractor drawn unit where you have the people, there are 2 persons who are sitting here, and then you have the seedlings which are grown and they are being manually put into the hopper, and which is connected to the furrow, and that is why they are being put into the furrow. Even here then you find a higher capacity as compared to this, and definitely is the requirement of doing these, so that you can do this the operation faster and you can save time and you can cover more and more area. Now, a similar unit which has been a completely automatic transplanting, here the human being is not involved except that the driver is here who is, after everything has been created, the whole seedlings have been created and the system has been well set, the tractor driver has to simply operate in the field the way he does operation. This has been developed at IIT Kharagpur, and where you can say that the field capacity is 0.4 hectare per hour. Here what exactly we do is that there are various methods by which you can create the seedlings. We will see how they are. Classification seedlings for vegetable transplanting. Now, there could be seedlings the way they are prepared. See bare root type seedlings, where there is the root is very bare root is here and a plant is removed from the soil. So, the bare root means there is no soil in that root. So, we can say then stock plants should be planted within 48 hours of receipt for optimum result. Actually, what we do that the moment you have these, they should be planted as early as possible. Otherwise, because just like fish out of water, similar situation here. So, you should plant immediately as far as possible the moment you have taken a bare root of a particular seedling of a vegetable crop. Plug type seedling, these are ones which are very common and which are being used and which have slightly higher longevity as compared to the bare root type of seedlings. So, here plugs are preferred as modular seedlings and are grown in peat best growth mixed in cells which form a soil block around the roots of the seedling. Very simple, because either in a cup or in a paper pot, you can put the seeds and then you can sow the seeds and the seedling can be created. And this seedling then, when it grows for a certain duration of time, maybe about 2 to 3 weeks or so, and then that can be taken and can be planted into the location or transplanted into the location where you want. You can see here what we have shown, a process by which you can see the first thing here, the second here there is nothing here, you can see how we are putting these. The third one, you can see that the seedlings have come up, and then after that there is some watering, then you can see the situation over here, the situation over here, and ultimately then the plant is growing. Now, what happens? It looks something like this. You can have a look at this, that something like this will be the condition of the trays. You can create the trays like this, and then once the trays are there, either you can take the trays and then you can put wherever you want to put the transplanted, or something like this you can see. Now, this is a very old means slightly older than what you can see, but then this is the requirement for a particular crop. So, depending upon the type of crop, vegetable crop you have to allow the seedlings grow into the nursery. Pot type seedlings, this is what exactly I was telling you, that some of the crops of the horticulture crops, some of these vegetables are on pots, paper pots, as I said. Either you can have a cup or of any material. Here you can have a pot of newspaper or any paper. Here you can see for a tomato they have created one, for a brinjal they have created one, and for chili they have created one. These are some examples which you can see how it looks like when the whole thing is ready. Now, this is the soil portion here, which is a mix. Of course, definitely you have to create in such a way that it has some level of nutrient with it when it is fixed, because then it must get the initial nutrient from the soil from where it is housed, and then later on it will start taking from the surroundings. So, this is very important. Well, the height of each pot is maintained at 40 mm to accommodate the maximum length of root system of different seedlings. Well, these are some of the requirements, and well, it is not a binding, but you can say that you can say here that generally paper pots of diameter say 38 it is given. So, about 38 to 65 millimeter could be the size here, and generally a 50 GSM paper is used, because then that will have certain strength and it will be able to hold the soil, so that when you fill the soil inside that, it will not simply break or go away, but then it will be able to sustain for certain duration of time, and then it will grow along with that. Later on it will be, you can remove it because this will come out, and then you will have the seedlings just the way they are created here for the 3 crops of tomato, brinjal and chili. Well, these are some of the processes by which you can create. This is a process shown here. You can it's not a very big process that I need to spend so much time on talking about this, but these are something which automatically comes when you start creating such cups of the paper. Classification of meeting for vegetable transplanting. Well, as such classification, you can say that there is no hard and fast rule for classification of this, but then the different types which are available, on that basis we can say what are the ones which are available. Yes, you can see that pocket type metering devices used for transplanting of bare root seedlings, say tomato, cabbage, cauliflower, sweet potato, like this. Say this we have taken from literature. You can see that these are the pockets. This is the pocket which are created here, and in these pockets these seedlings are kept, and when this rotates, it will be simply falling into the location of the furrow where this will be actually put. Similarly, vertical descending cup or bucket type metering mechanism. Here You can see that this is the cups which are there, these are the ones. So, vertically descending, they will be descending means when you rotate. So, commonly used mulch planters and dibbling planters, used for pot seedlings in semi-automatic and automatic transplanters, eggplant and chili peppers. So, for these some of these, this bucket type of cup or metering device is used. So, these are some of the devices which are available. Well, here I would like to say, as an engineer, you must use your mind and try to come up with something very simple, say for Indian conditions, or a smaller unit which can help for small grounds or small fields and for different types of crops. And if it is possible, maybe a multi crop situation or multi crop metering system will be a better one for this. So, we wanted here to show you the various types of vegetable planters and their planting mechanisms and the types by which we create the vegetable transplanters. There are other ones where rotary cup type metering device, the conveyor type metering device, pot seedling, semi-automatic, automatic transplanter, the way similar things that we take for the seed drills, there also, here also you can have a rotary cup type metering mechanism and a conveyor type of metering mechanism. These are some modifications, or you can say that some of the changes that they have made at different locations, depending on the type of the crop, depending upon the size of the crop they want to maintain, the seedling, size of the seedling which they want to maintain for sowing. So, at IIT Kharagpur we have developed a tractor drawn unit as well as a power tiller drawn unit also, but then this is only a concept that we have developed and we are in a position to show this. Now, for large scale development of these, large scale modification of all these things, I think, well, one needs to have a trade off between whether to have more units of tractor drawn or units of power tiller drawn, because each has its own limitations and the requirement, the cost, etc., keeping into view the cost and the amount of area which is to be covered, etc., into picture. Sugarcane planting. Now, this is one thing which is very important, and we do have lot of problem with sugarcane planting. You must have also seen that sugarcane, height of sugarcane is so big, and then transplanting of this, and then how do we plant, how do we harvest, this is a very big problem, and very big machines are available. Various machines have been imported from outside for harvesting of this, because this is a big problem. Earlier we used to do manually, but it is not possible for the very obvious reasons that we do not have people. We do not have people for single cutting of these, we do not have people available for this. So, we need to go for mechanization of this sugarcane planting and harvesting both. Now, you see that how these are done. Let us have a look at how they are done. Manually, the cane sets are placed and end to end. Now, the way they are shown, you can have a look at this. So, they have been shown here. Manually, the canes are cut into a sizes about 30 to 40 centimeters or so, and in which there will be at least 2 buds or so, and then they are planted manually the way it has been shown over at these 2 locations here. But then, since it is a manual method, if the area is less and people are available, why not go for manual method? It will be cheaper for the farmer. But then people are not available, and when you have large area to be covered, then there is no other alternative than to go for mechanical means. And so, mechanical planting, and mechanical planting, there are various types, various variations of the machines which are available. One variation is shown over here. You can see the whole cane which is being cut, which is being carried just like a hopper, and below the hopper there is a cutting mechanism. So, what happens is that when it is moving, there is a cutter which cuts and makes a small sets, and those sets you can see here that the opening the furrow, planting the sets and applying fertilizer. Now, these are conducted simultaneously. In the mechanical system, of course, I said that these are the metering system, but then what do you do? Because once you have a furrow open, then the sets have to be put in that, and then you have to cover and then put certain amount of fertilizer or insecticides to say save these. So, these are the things which need to be done in a mechanical system. Well, look at what are the various methods for different operations. You can see here seed bed preparation is the first job which we have discussed. There is no point telling about it, but seed bed preparation. Furrow making, yes, you have to make the furrows. We have seen that furrow making devices earlier, and hence the furrow has to be made. Then cutting of cane, yes, the cutting of cane manually, the person is doing manually, he is cutting the cane into small pieces where the buds are there, and after this manual planting of these sets. Now, as it was shown earlier, again we are showing here these two locations, manually these sets are being placed in between the furrows, and then covering the sets with soil. Now, manually being covered, either you can have a small spade or a something, a device something like that, and you can cover the sets which have been planted. And after that you can give some sort of a insecticide or fertigation if you want to save the seeds from any other arrangement, any other damage, etc. And then of course, the irrigation in the channels irrigation, so that it will help in growing of the sets. So, this is the method which is being used for a manual system, manual sugarcane planting. Now, you can see that the steps are so tedious, you require people to do, and you require more people when you have large area, but then we need to go for mechanization of this. So, we have done at IIT Kharagpur, we have done a device for this, and in fact, we have tried a slightly innovative way of using these, and let us discuss as to what they are. See, in mechanical sugarcane planting, well, we have given you here just for information. Please understand that these are informations which will help you in understanding as to what are the different types of equipment and machines available in the country and being used at different locations, because then you will have an idea which one is good, which one is not good, and which one is most suitable and all that, and that will give you an idea to have a new design which will help a larger community of the farmers from across the country. Now, you can see here that some people have developed these machines which we have kept here. This is a sugarcane metering, this is sugarcane metering mechanism, sugarcane planter here, semi-manual, semi-automatic as I told earlier, then semi-automatic drum type. In the drum we are putting the sets here, and semi-automatic cutter planter type which I had shown earlier. So, these are the ones which are developed different locations, and purposely we have given you here with their references, so that you can have a look at this and read more about these units. Well, these are some other ones. You can see here how they are being used. Say tractordon mounted sugarcane cutter planter, a 2-row device which is here. Their field capacity, their details are also given here, so that you can appreciate how much area they cover, what is their field efficiency, and what is the working width, and what is the set length, how much is the set length, how much overlap they maintain, and how much is the seed rate, about 6 to 8 tons per hectare that you require here. Now, you can imagine you have to carry so much of the material, 6 to 8 tons of this material. Now, this is one big problem, because of which people are in looking for better solutions. This is another device which is also sugarcane cutter planter here, wherein we are cutting, we have measured the cut in force, and the field efficiency is, you can see, this much only, about 30 to 38%, 40% field efficiency. You can imagine what, why should you go for it. Now, here field efficiency was 80%, just 2 row here. Now, here field efficiency is 38%, and well, then, and the cutting force required, because you need to cut these canes of into various types in the sizes, different sizes which you want of the sets before they are being planted into the furrows which have been opened. So, these give you an idea as to what is the field efficiency, what is the total weight required, and things like that, and which enables you to go for a design, a new design. Now, we will show you what we have designed here. Well, there are certain other things which are talked of. Sustainable sugarcane initiative. Now, this is one which is new, a concept which has come up. You might have heard of rice system of rice intensification, SRI, for paddy, wherein a single seedling is being used in case of paddy, and that the concept is that if one single seedling is placed at a similar distance, then it will get lot of space and for having a better growth, etc. That is what is the thinking, and that is why that SRI system is very much prevalent, particularly in the dryland agriculture, and it has proven very good yield as well, and that is why people are also designing SRI type of transplanters. On a similar concept, the SSI, which is Sustainable Sugarcane Initiative. Now, what is done in this initiative is, you can have a look at this, what is given. This SSI technology aims at providing practical options to the farmers in improving the productivity of the land, the water, labor, and all the agriculture inputs at the same time. This gives, okay, reduce the overall pressure on water resources and contribute recovery system, contribute to the recovery system ecosystem, and useless number of seeds. Well, you have seen that so much tons of this material has to be used. So, you can, if you use that, it is possible that you need not to carry so much of tons of loads per hectare for seeding for a sugar cane. So, this is another important, less water and optimum utilization of fertilizer and land to achieve more yield. While we are targeting at a higher yield, we are not going to use a very big size of sets or sugar cane and handling of this so much of load to the field. So, the idea here is that you have buds, you know that the buds are there, and this bud chipper is important. So, you have a bud chipper by which you can take the bud chips, which are given here. You can see that these are the buds which have been chipped, and after they are preparing nursery, you create nursery for that. So, this is the beauty of new system which is thought of, that you can create a nursery for that, and then you can see that this is just like that. Nursery has been created. These are the houses, these are the locations where you can put these chips, bud chips which have been there, because these from here the plant will come up, then you can grow. Now, see, this is the seedling, this is how it looks like. So, the seedling will be like this, and then you can transplant the seedlings at your location. Here in the SSI system, we see that better sustainability, less amount of material to be handled, and then everything can be economized. This is the idea in SSI, which is very prevalent nowadays. Okay, finding out a similar concept, these are advantages. Of course, there are certain advantages of SSI, as I explained earlier, that you do not have to carry so much of material, and transportation, etc., will not be required for that. Well, we have developed at IIT Kharagpur a device which has a new, and we are also talking of these buds. Now, you can see that these we have devised a machine where we can cut these small buds of a required size. We have not chipped it, but we have taken a certain about 22 to 25 or 30 mm size of the bud. We have cut. We have designed a machine for cutting that, and then after that we can use the machine for planting. It has solved a great many problems, and then we will show you what it is. Now, this is the machine which is there for cutting of the buds. Here the some of the research which we did, and the GUI which has been created, we want to show you here, because it is patent pending for such a machine. That is why we may not be able to tell you the details of this GUI, but then we are showing that we have these machines and it is working. We will show you the operation of the machine which we have developed for cutting of the buds as well as for seeding of the sugarcane. Now, here the control system, the bud control system, you can see here more details of the electronics portion which we have used, a microcontroller, a relay switch, then motor driver, and the various other components which are used in the electronic system of this control system for bud cutting machine. Now, this is the bud cutting machine here. You can have a look at how it works. Well, you can have a look at how the bud is cut. Here you can see that on this side we have seen you the GUI image processing. You can see the image of the bud is being seen here, and accordingly the cutting machine, cutting portion, cutting blades or cutting those buds out of the required type which has been designed. So, you can see here the digital image processing of the item, as well as you can see here the cutting which is taking place. Well, you can see that this system is working well, and it helps us that very fast you can cut these seedlings, these buds out of the cane. So, you do not require so much people for cutting it manually. So, this device and automatically this cuts as per the requirement, and then once you have completed this part, you can use it for the machine for taking it for some of the details of this system which we have. The spoon which is being used here, this is the spoon which is being used, spoon type mechanism, spoon with the belt, this is the mechanism which is there, and this is the power transmission system which we have designed for our machine which I am talking of. Well, now the another thing which we give here, you can have that the automatic fungicide application system we have also developed, because you require that these the buds should be kept at a location, and some fungicide should also be put. Otherwise, we have found that some sort of mites etc., were attacking, and that is why we have used the electronic system. You can see the details of the system here, where fungicide is being applied, and you can have a look at this what happens. You can see here from there is a power from the battery goes here, then you can see that from there it goes to the solenoid, and then of course, it goes from the infrared sensor, and then you can see here that it goes to the solenoid valve again, and then finally, it will be sprayed at this location. So, you will be in a position to see that how the system works. And this is the device, and the details of the circuit diagram are given on this side here. Now, we will also like to show you the system which we have developed and how it works in the field. So, the performance evaluation we will have a look at the video. You can see that how it works in the field, as I said earlier. This is the one which we have developed, and you can see that it has arrangement, as I said, for fungicide also. You can see that at some location here, you can see here that the spraying is being done. Yes, you can see that spray comes out here. Yeah, you can see sometimes spray. Yes, you can see at both the locations here. So, these spray is also being applied, and the covering is taking place by gravity. You can see that as the whole machine is going forward, the covering is taking place. We have not used any other machine for covering this, and this is well enough to take care, and after some time we have found that the germination takes place well. So, this is the machine which has worked and developed at IIT Kharagpur. This is the field performance of the machine. Well, we have certain we have also given you that, well, this is field efficiency is much better. We have seen a system where field efficiency was about 38% or so. We have a better field efficiency. Speed of operation is also higher. Fuel consumption is, well, fuel consumption of a tractor and about 4.5 liter that per hectare. If and we can see the missing index is very less. You can see here missing index is less, and multiple index is 14. Now, this is large. Once you go for large testing and then multiplication of such machines over a period of time, you will find that these can be reduced and a machine can be very well. Thank you very much.